because this is probably one of the biggest things I've ever done, you know. And Sarah, I was explaining to Sarah too that I've never, honestly, I mean, I've never seen anybody do anything like this, perfume related before. You know,
Yeah,
so I think it's something that's really unique, you
it
know.
is. I haven't seen it. I'm excited with you and for you. Um, I really truly want the best for you, and it's a cool endeavor. One of the things that I have an advantage of as the owner of one of our small shops in America, I get to not just meet people like you, but I get to see what you're doing as you're doing it. So it's really cool. Uh, it's really cool what you're doing. So thank you for letting me be a small part of it.
Oh, and thank
Uh,
you for letting me be a part of the perfumology community. You know,
Proud
you,
of it.
when,
Proud of us.
when I came back into perfumery, you know, you were the first person, I've told you this, you know, you were the first person that I've wanted to contact, you know, and reach out to and work with, you know. And so
Yeah,
um it's something I've been really, really happy with, you know, since I've been back in the game, you know.
yeah. Well, welcome back and stay around. You know, there's lots. You're one of the good people, so
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
um, with pleasure. All right.
Honestly, I mean, one of the things I had been wanting to tell you is, you know, I would really like, I mean, I've known, you know, Chocognac has been doing, you know, pretty good with you.
Mhm.
Honestly, I would love sometime, you know, like maybe by the end of the year, you know, doing another perfumology exclusive.
Oh, absolutely. And we could talk about completing another accord and one under your brand. I'd love to do that. But if I, as I look around the shop and I think about what we do and how we accomplish things, Chacognac is special because one, first and foremost, you made an amazing perfume.
Thank you.
It smells great. It smells great on paper. It smells great on skin, and it's really rich and I think delicious is a really good word for that one because it's a gourmand. It fits perfect, right? So and I'm looking around and I know what sells, I know what sticks, I know what doesn't, and I want to make more. You know, we always desire for people to fall in love with our art, with our creation, um, and 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 it doesn't always. And a part of that is marketing. Like I've got a bunch of really beautiful perfumes here from all over the world, and people aren't as into it, and it's a lot of marketing. Um, unfortunately, that's a small part. It's a small part of what's going on. And so basically, it's wonderful when things click. When things really click, they are, and I think Chocognac is one of them. I feel like a bunch of your perfumes do click with the right people, but because people are just talking about it, they're doing amazing things. It's the perfume is doing amazing things. So, what else? Yeah, I definitely do, and I like to follow your lead. Actually, I want it to be uh something from your heart. The perfumes and art comes from the soul of the creator. It's an extension of it. So the question here is if you want to make something for us, that I always ask is kind of being open to what you want to create. um
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, you know, and I mean, no offense if you carry them, but you know what you just said. You know, perfume is an art that comes from the soul of the creator. You know, I had this conversation a few days ago with somebody about dupes. You know,
oh yeah,
companies that make, you know, copies of
yeah,
popular fragrances or just other people's work, you know. And you know, it personally, it drives me crazy. um
uh-huh,
but you saying perfume is an art that comes from the soul of the creator, well, dupes are soulless, because
So yeah, yeah, go ahead.
because they are technically, to me, not their creation. It's like going to the Louvre and copying
Mhm.
Mona Lisa and saying that it's yours.
Right. I took this photo of Mona Lisa.
Yeah,
Right. Uh, and I feel like with the way consumers are and with the way the industry works, it just is a part of what we do, right? If I made a chocolate cake
yeah.
and then you made a chocolate cake, it's not like it's you made my chocolate cake, right? I
From
heard it
your
kind of
from your
described that way.
recipe, right? Right, from your
Right.
recipe, and then I'm
From
marketing.
my
Yeah,
rest. Yeah.
yeah,
So I actually talk about how people copy one another or versus follow a thread, follow something where this accord is so good. Um, I see it all over the shop from brands that we love and carry, and from people that I do appreciate, and they're following a trend. On the other hand, if you're just straight up being like, I did everything the same, and then I'm charging the same amount, and here's my mediocre packaging, I feel a way about that. I feel really strongly about that. Or you say Aqua de Joe type, you're not even trying. Um, how much have I seen that in this industry? And honestly, it's a part of what happens with our industry, and it is intellectual property theft. However, we are in an industry that's completely unprotected. So when it,
really, all someone needs is just a list of the notes in a perfume, and a decent perfumer could replicate it.
yeah, and to wear it, and if a really good perfumer will do it well, right?
Yeah,
It's not the simplest thing in the world, but it's very possible. You could just hire somebody. I know people, they just send a sample and they're like, that's it. That's all I needed. I spent a couple bucks and that's it.
yeah,
Um, and I think about this actually because as I search for new brands and new fragrances to bring in, I don't want lots of copies. I want it to be fresh. I want it to be art. I want it to have a soul. You're right. It's soulless. Does it exist? Soullessness exists all over planet Earth. I can't do anything about that. So I focus on the positive and the good and and the art that I have access to because thank God I do. Thank God I can smell this
yeah.
and talk to you.
Part of me is actually sympathetic, um, because there are people who can't afford to spend $400 on a rose prick by Tom Ford. So they settled for spending $50 on a dupe. you know um
I can tell you, yeah, yeah. Um, I think that if you are above a certain price point, you're kind of asking for it. Okay. If you've made extravagant packaging that's worth more than the juice itself,
right.
it's a different thing. On the other hand, I've smelled something with minimalist packaging get copied, and the copy was significantly worse because all of the money went into the liquid inside. And there's no replicating good juice. There's no replicating the amount of time that was spent not on the process of creation, but on the process of making and the process of getting it done perfectly.
Yep, yep.
Perfection doesn't technically exist. I understand that, but these fragrances are made in such a really extravagant way that there's no way a clone house is going to do a phenomenal job of making a copy. However, it does make it accessible to people who wouldn't otherwise have it.
Hmm.
Right. So when I think of what price points sell really well at our shop and who's buying it and why they're buying it, I understand that. I can,
Perfume is a lot more psychological than people give it credit for.
yeah, absolutely.
And th-
And I
and
can,
this conversation is actually, to be honest, this conversation is actually inspiring me, to want to create something, you know.
I'm I'm really proud of that. And I hope to be inspiring, but it's another thing to uh, I can't wait, right? Every time you send me a package, you're like, there's new stuff in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I mean, I think of it as a luxury that really allows us to feel rich emotions because it's taking us to a different place, a different time,
Hmm.
right? I see it as a form of escapism, but I also see it as a form of therapy. Uh, for me personally, it's helped me a lot when I've been through hard times, and I've been through many, many hard times. Perfume has definitely allowed me to stay grounded. This is reality, even though my brain is going somewhere else. But in reality, this sense of smell, it's sort of like when you touch something, when you feel this texture, when you do something like that, it brings you back to this is what's happening right now, right? And perfume can do that. If you stop and focus, it makes you focus on your breathing, it makes you focus on what you're experiencing, right? And without seeing or hearing it, right? Without reading something, like the news is really difficult a lot of times. So when we focus very, very specifically on something small, which perfume is molecular, uh, it really can do a lot. It does wonders for the brain. Um,
Yeah, I completely agree. Just even for me as a creator, I mean, a lot of different elements goes into my creation of a fragrance.
mhm,
Sometimes I'll create a fragrance based on a character I create,
mhm,
and so oftentimes I'm giving with perfume, I'm not only giving that character a scent, I'm giving that character more of a personality, you
yeah,
and as it were, I'm giving that character a soul.
yeah,
It's really important for me to have a backstory, behind just about everything I create, not just perfume. Um, because it actually helps me to flesh out whatever it is I'm creating, be it perfume, costume, character, anything.
yeah, yeah. It shows. Number one, in your work, it shows that you put your real energy into what you create. Having seen it, having felt it, having smelled it, I have one of your awesome masks down, and I wore it at the beginning of the pandemic, but I, like you, chose to stop wearing it around. It was the wrong attention. Um, but it is awesome, right? And to be around people who really love what they do and have a reason to do it is really important. So if you look around our shop, I put my soul into this store, into this boutique, right? And I made a total mess on my way in, so I'm going to show you a little bit of it, right? And you'll see the logo all over. You'll see wood on an angle. It's off kilter. The simplest thing would be just put it down, right? This wood is local maple, right? This wood's all locally grown maple wood. And we talked about lots of different things, right? And it's live edge too. So you'll see there's live edges everywhere. I don't like this concept of actual perfection. I think that nature provides it for us, so it's close to as it is, and then we are here to produce the art. So here you are part of this
Very
more
good.
artistic side, right? Which is an excellent place to be. And when we talked about it, like we could have gone with teak, right? You and I have talked about this, but like there's so many types of really cool wood. And I think that teak is a very clean, very cool wood, right? Um, but this is what's here. And I love maple personally. The floors are walnut. Um,
Well, see, now that's again, that's giving me inspiration for, the future perfumology exclusive teak, maple, and walnut in the fragrance.
Yeah, a very woody perfume, right?
Yeah,
That's fantastic. I really appreciate it. Thank you
no,
very much.
no problem, brother. It's good talking to you, man.
The pleasure was mine. Have a beautiful day.
All right, you too.
Stay well. Bye.
Take care.